Hello, and welcome to our series about having tools to being able to think clearly when we're under pressure. So, tool number two, break down the problem. I know, not that easy, isn't it? So, under high pressure situation, we can feel overwhelmed because they often involve complex problems. By breaking down the problem into smaller, more manageable parts, this can make it easier to tackle each component step by step rather than feeling daunted by the whole. Again, utilize your breathing first. Tool number one, pause and breathe. I would advise strongly before you decide to do anything. Then break down the problem. So, I'm going to give you a concrete example actually that happened to me last October 2023. Yeah, it was a fantastic year last year. You have no idea. It's just like that year I should have definitely stayed in a coma instead than paddling the dark night of the soul. So to be on the top of the cherry of the dark night of the soul, I thought I was out of the woods. I thought I everything was restarting perfectly, or I'll explain it this way. Seems moving forward into the right direction in October. The first 2 weeks went great until the 23rd, and it was past midnight. So it was a Monday morning. Imagine past midnight, and you discover that in your fourplex you got a fire, and the fire is your chimney, or the common chimney, and the roof where you're sleeping peacefully with your dogs, not realizing what was going on. You wake up with a shoush noise. Then you realize this, give the alarm, call the cops to get the firefighters, blah, blah, blah. Again, it's a fire. You don't know how long you've got before the roof collapses on you. So you take your dogs, you dress up because you don't have any change or anything, you don't have a suitcase by the door telling you, oh, okay, maybe you should, by the way. Keep all of your sensitive document, jewelry and everything in a suitcase or something like that near your entryway. Trust me, because when things happen like that, you do not have time to think of what you need to take, or take your sweet time, because again, you don't know when the structure is going to collapse on you. So, you go downstairs, pick up your car, which I did very calmly, woke up the neighbor and pushed over the neighbor, except one who could not get a hold of it, and the cops had to break the door in order to wake her up. Imagine, past midnight, 12:30, the raging fire, moving again, got my dogs in the car. Thank God for that. Moved the car up. I had to move it in a different direction because they were gonna use the what they call it, their hose and everything else. So I needed to move this out of the way, which is fine. Now, what do you do? Because that's a big one. Okay, you wake up. The only thing you think of is, I want to go home. You don't have any more home. You don't have a home anymore. You don't have nowhere to go. You got nobody who's going to move a finger for you. You have to think about your dogs, their safety, your safety. Are you going to sleep in a car? What are you going to do? That's a lot to take. Okay? Now, breaking it down, luckily, or I will say by the universe and the grace of God. I'm going to use the word God, not the universe at this point. Being protected by my angels, archangel, and ascended masters, and everybody else in beautiful J. Love you, my bro. They're going to put somebody on your path who's going to help you to at least find a shelter, because you need a shelter. You're going to need clothes because you're pissing and you don't realize you're going to walk into a huge puddle of water, which means the shoes you had, you got no more shoes and socks because those are totally wet. So now you lost your shoes. That happens. You have to make sense that you need funds to go and do that. You don't have access to your home. You don't have access to anything else. So you need to break it down. What is the emergency in that? What is the first step? It's to find a place for you to stay with your dogs. Now, if you have a project, if you have something like that, then what is the next step? It's not never looking at the whole situation, but what can you manage step by step? It's for me, I take it as an example of it's eating a cake, a piece of cake. Which way are you gonna do it? From the crust, from let's say you got a French silk pie. Are you gonna do the crust first? Are you which way? Sideways, left side, right side? Which way? Taking it down and split them into smaller goal milestone, you have a better chance to achieve it than anything else. Because if you try to do everything at the same times, that you're going to have great difficulties actually to be able to do anything at all. You're going to start one thing and you're going to run like a chicken without head. You're going to burn yourself and you're not going to be able to do anything except a big blah. Looking at if you work in projects, you work with milestone or you work with iteration, you work with sprint. Basically, in the agile world, we work with sprint. Every sprint have the milestone. So you have every project have a sprint. So I don't know, you need to implement the software. Then you're going to need to do the testing, first of all, the coding, and then the testing. And after the testing, you're going to do the implementation, the rollout, the phase one, which will be the support, etc., etc., etc. So learning to break down the problem, okay, and what needs to be done in a more fashion and a better manners will help you to achieve that. And that's what you got to do. Every problems have a solution. That's something we all need to understand. But how do you do it is the key. Now, break down the problem will help you. Maybe you need a leg up from somebody. Like I did. I had a leg up from a lot of people who came and helped me because I had nowhere to go. Because the people that knew me for many, many years didn't move a finger. And that's okay. This is where you realize in life that the people, even at work, people will decide what they want to do. Some will turn their back, and some total stranger, it could be at work as well, can help you. You never know. Take example of what happened to you as an example, and somebody out of the blue, a perfect stranger, helped you. And you're like, oh my goodness, thank you very much. Those are what we call the angels that come along the way. The one that through them, you get the help. And I got the leg up. So I took this example because I don't need pity, by the way. So don't even pour me. There is nothing to pour about it. Trust me. But it's life. It's we all have a different trajectory. But the universe always put people in place to help us. Have you ever noticed if you needed something and you ask the universe, then you get the support. How can I do this? How can I do that? Universe, what would be the best way? And you get somebody who's going to bring you a solution, a leg up. But break down your problem. You have to learn to do that. And when you do that, then you can find that map to actually resolve it. That was our little tool number 2. Break down the problem. We'll talk to you later. Bye.